Hey guys, it's Josh with ABG Tutorials, and I'm back with this will be a quicker video continuing to showcase HTML, learning the idea of tags, how they're used, and how to customize our pages. So in this video, I'm going to go through a few of the common tags that you're going to use more frequently, but the best part of this video is going to be at the end when I introduce the style attribute. And this is kind of the first time where we really start to be able to customize our pages exactly the way we want, instead of being, locked into the default tag markup that it's going to do on our pages. So here are the tags I'm going to be going through in the video. The first is just how to enter code comments, and the code comments should be put in there for you as a developer, often to organize, what you're intending to do, organize sections of code, and sometimes just remind yourself of what you need to do or what you need to do next. And HR adds a horizontal line on your page, so this is useful for, separating sections on your page. Here's an example right here. There's a horizontal line kind of separating the title with, the content on the page. So it's going to have use. Paragraph tag I've talked about. You're going to see that it starts a new line, and it just allows us to group a section of content. There are heading tags. We can use H1, H2, H3, and you're going to see they change the size. And a center tag can be used to put anything within it, obviously on the center of our page. The next thing that you may need during your pages at one point or another is just how to make a list. Sometimes we want to put an unordered list where it just lists things, like in point or bullet form. So this is an example right here of an unordered list, these bullets. And sometimes we want an ordered list. And that would be if you wanted to showcase a series of steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, or, you could use letters, you can use Roman numerals. So all of the tags that I'm going to go through in today's video can be modified further using the style attribute. And the style attribute fits in with CSS, and you're going to want to stay to the end to see how it can be used, and then you'll be able to actually use that on older tags you've already learned, and you'll be able to use it again in the future on any new tags. I'm just going to showcase some of the tags here, and then I'll load up the live preview and show you what these tags are going to do to our page. So nothing new here. These are our main tags that are supposed to be in our HTML page. Here's an example of a code comment being used. So you use those symbols, and you can type anything you want, and you can keep typing there. I've got a BR, which remember is just a line break. It's going to add a new line. And there's my HR for the horizontal line. I use a paragraph tag. I use an H1, H2, H3. I then show you the H1 being centered using that center tag. And then I use the H's to kind of organize how I introduce the unordered list and the ordered list here. Okay, so I'm going to hit the live preview. And obviously feel free to pause the video at any time so that you can copy some of this code and try it for yourself. I'm going to drag it over here, and you can see the first thing is these code comments don't show up anywhere. So that's good. We've got a new line, we've got a horizontal, and then we've got another line, and you can see this is my horizontal line right here. Paragraph tag starts a new line, so I didn't have to use a BR. And then you can see the three headings. So heading 1, 2, and 3. So obviously heading 1 is a larger font. Heading 1 centered. And then here are my two types of lists, an unordered list and an ordered list. Okay, the unordered list default uses the little disc, so the little bullet format. And then an ordered list starts with number 1. Okay, the style attribute. So a style attribute can be added to any of the tags we've used, and specific tags have unique attributes that you can style. Other tags, you can style anything you want, and it just goes with learning. And I'm going to be honest, this style or CSS is one of the places where I am going to improve, and I'm going to be making several videos as I learn and improve CSS in the future. So bear with me if there are some CSS experts here watching this video. But the style attribute, like our normal attribute, we would just add this inside the tag symbol, has to follow a specific syntax. And so here's the syntax right below here. So style equals, we can change a whole bunch of properties. We need to know the name of the property, and then we want to change that property. For example, color. So if you wanted to change the color, we would then have to choose a color that would be understood by that property. So syntax matters here. And this is why using an editor is better, because it's going to help you with some of that. And then we can just continue to list the properties we want to change before we close off that quotation marks. Okay, now notice how there's a semicolon, or sorry, a colon, and then a semicolon. When we start a new property, colon, semicolon. Okay, and here's the example below. Paragraph style, we would want the color to be red, and we would want the font size to be changed to 20 pixels. All right, and then anything I put inside that paragraph would have that applied to it. Okay, so I've got that very same example preloaded. This time I've already adjusted several of the tags in that earlier example and added in the style attributes. So this first is this, horizontal line. And here you can see I'm changing the height to 5 pixels. So notice the syntax. This is a property I'm changing, and then the value that I'm going to change it. Notice the colon and the semicolon. Then I'm going to change the background color to red and change the width to 50%. So let's just go ahead and click my live preview. Let it load up here. And let's take a look at all of these things, because you can see on the page things are red, things are blue, they're all of a sudden different here. Horizontal line is 50%. So if I changed this, let's move this over, to something like 75%, the line should get longer. I can change the background color to something else. And this is why look in editor's nice. It's giving me an option. Hey, what color do we want to change this to? Sure, I like that one. And then let's make sure we save. Let's bring this over, and look what happened. Our horizontal line, before it was 50%, now it's 75%, and it's changed to this nice purple color. Next, you can see in the paragraph tag, this one's pretty self-explanatory. Color is different, font size is different, font family is different. So you can make the font look different here. You can change the size, say that that's a little too large and you maybe want 20 pixels here. We want to save. We want to bring this back up, and you can see it already readjusted for me and made it a little bit smaller. The H2, so here's something I want to show you. H1, remember, is bigger than H2, but I have adjusted my H2 to have this specific style where it has a larger font size. It has to be 50, and it changes the color to dark blue. So my style attribute will overwrite what the default properties would look like. So you can see in this case, my heading 2 is actually larger than my heading 1. Okay, the last thing I want to show you here is just some attributes that you can use with your lists. So remember, here's an unordered list, and here's an ordered list, and I'm showcasing why the code comments are nice, because I've added in code comments here that you can change the type attribute on an unordered list to square, disc, or circle, and it'll change what this looks like. And then obviously we could add a style, and we can make them larger or smaller as well. So here I'm gonna try square, and often this auto saves, but I get in the habit of saving and coming here and see how I didn't have to refresh. So it changes it to square. I could then, you know, try a disc if we wanted. A disc, I think, is the default one. Let's take a look. Save. Yep, that's the default one. And then a circle is going to look a little different. I might as well quickly show it to you. Save. And there's what a circle one looks like. Okay, quite a bit that I can change here on the ordered list, because I don't always want things to start with 1. And so these are all of the types I can use. So type with just number 1 would make this. That's the default list. Let's go ahead and put a capital I in here for the type. And save. Bring it up. And it's changed it to capital Roman numerals. The lowercase I, and I'm going to use Control S to save just to make it a little bit quicker, has changed my Roman numerals to lowercase. The A would obviously be capital letters, and then the lower a would be lowercase letters if you wanted to order your list that way. Now, sometimes you want to have ordered lists on a couple different places on your page, and you want to continue a count. So in that case, you just have to use a number here. So let's say I wanted to use capital letters, and I didn't want to start with A, I wanted to start with C or something. So that's the third one in that series. Gonna save it, and you can see by changing the type to capital A and the start to 3, it started my list at C, and it's displayed with capital letters. And you can see that and say, I don't really like that. I would like lowercase. So we can come back, change it here, save it, and here we go, lowercase. Okay, so that's it for this video, you guys. What you're starting to see here is you're starting to see that we're using tags, but we're all of a sudden now customizing tags to make them look exactly the way that we want. And that's a good thing. The tags have default values. They get us in the right ballpark, but we are the web developers. We're the ones in charge. If we want a specific font, a specific size, or anything else there, we can adjust that using the style attribute. As usual, always be grinding.